Hi, everyone. Welcome to the special episode of Express Play DRM webcast series. Today, we want to talk about Marlin DRM. My name is Ali Hajjat. I'm the Product Marketing Director at Intertrust, and I'm here with my good colleague, Nicola Brady, who is the Senior Solutions Architect at Intertrust Technologies. Nicola, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Ali. Great pleasure to be part of this webcast.
Very good. So today we want to introduce Marlin DRM. Nicola, let's start from the beginning. Can you tell us when and why was Marlin DRM created and by whom?
Sure, Ali. So it all started about 16 years ago when around January 2005, five companies actually sit together, Intertrust, Panasonic, Philips, Samsung, and Sony, to jointly develop specifications for Marlin DRM as an open community-based DRM standard, mostly targeted for consumer devices and for multimedia services. So Marlin was created from the start to enable interoperability and to allow consumers the ability to share their content seamlessly, potentially across different devices, different services within their home network or domain. And really, 2 years later, in January 2007, that's when the commercial operations for Marlin DRM really started. And since then, Marlin has become a widely deployed DRM platform for over-the-top streaming video or IPTV services around the world.
Okay, very good. Given the open standard nature of Marlin DRM, how is this standard managed and maintained today?
Very good question. So management of Marlin DRM is driven by two organizations, really. The first one is the Marlin Developer Community, is the MDC, and the second one is the Marlin Trust Management Organization, or MTMO. So the MDC is an open standards community development initiative focused on developing and maintaining the Marlin technology specifications, as well as all related to the Marlin performance test suite. The MDC also supports and promotes adoption of Marlin technologies through some marketing activities. And on the other side, MTMO acts as a neutral management organization and provides critical services to the Marlin licensees, including standards for security operations, maintenance of the compliance and the robustness requirements, as well as all processes associated with the self-certification with these robustness and compliance rules. Services for management of keys and certificates, and finally, measures for remediation in the event of a security breach.
Interesting. So how could a third party obtain a commercial license for use of Marlin technology?
Well, Ali, MTMO organization not only is in charge of all the trust management operations, as I just explained, but it's as well the entity which is in charge of granting commercial licenses for the use of Marlin technology. So in effect, a company willing to deploy a Marlin compliant device or service should contact the MTMO through the website to get a commercial license set up.
Great. So now, can you explain what is the process for deploying Marlin DRM and what are the components involved?
Yes, Ali, sure. So there are actually several steps involved in deploying Marlin DRM products. It starts from getting access to the technology stack, to the specifications. It's usually done by licensing a Marlin conformant product, such as the Intertrust ExpressPlay Source SDK or the ExpressPlay TE porting kit for integrating Marlin technology into a consumer electronic device. Then, while this integration stage is performed, and I explained just before, one should also sign a commercial license with MTMO to prepare for a commercial launch. And finally, the last steps to complete, I would say, in order to deploy a product are to receive those personalization keys, credentials, as well as filling in the Marlin compliance and robustness checklist to the MTMO organization. And then compliant product or compliant service can be put on the market. And well, as explained and illustrated here as well, examples of such compliant products could be the ExpressPlay binary SDK for mobile applications, or could be some A2B TV compliant TV set, like those TVs that we see being deployed in the European market.
Thank you, Nicola. So that's interesting. If I'm not mistaken, there are actually two types of Marlin DRM protocols. Can you explain what are these two protocols and what are their differences?
Yes, you're right, Ali. There are two types of Marlin protocols. The first protocol, which is MBB, and which stands for Marlin Broadband, is actually the main, I would say, the most complete Marlin DRM protocol. It supports the whole extensive list of supported business policies within the Marlin ecosystem, such as persistence of content protection, and supports all the popular business models, electronic sell-through, rental, subscription models, domain-based models, and more. Whereas the second protocol, which is MS3, and which stands for Marlin Simple Secure Streaming, is more like a simplest subset of a Marlin broadband, and specifically focused and I would say optimized for transactional business models to support streaming business cases. As just as an example, it would not support the ability to persist the DRM license on the device, but really only for transactional business model.
Great. Now let's talk about the Marlin device ecosystem. What are the type of partners that make up the Marlin device ecosystem?
Good question. Well, as I explained in the beginning, Marlin has been co-founded in the very first place by these consumer electronics and those TV manufacturers. So, as one would expect, we can find all these manufacturers to embed the Marlin DRM client and be exhibited here in our Marlin enabled devices list. But actually, not only, and as you can see here as well, the list of Marlin devices client goes far beyond the original founders. And it exhibits some pretty widely deployed smart TV brands, as well as some well-known consumer electronics device or set-top box makers, such as just given as an example, Humax or Sagemcom companies. And also, all this device ecosystem benefits from hardware integration, I would say, from well-known chipset makers, like those names mentioned in here, Broadcom, HiSilicon, MediaTek, MStar, or Novatech. And then finally, all these devices integration or chipset integration are enabled by InterTrust products, and mostly in this case by the ExpressPlay Source SDK or the TE porting kit for chipsets that enable the integration of Marlin DRM into the chipset trusted execution environment, and therefore integration into the devices. It's worth noting as well that the InterTrust Marlin client product suite is also completed by the ExpressPlay binary SDKs for iOS or Android. And mostly those binary SDKs allow OTT services to deploy Marlin compliant native application both on Android and iOS.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems there is a large set of device partners that are involved in the Marlin community. Can you tell us about the largest Marlin deployments and kind of where is Marlin most widely deployed?
Sure, Ali. Well, interesting enough, first of all, I think we should note that Marlin DRM has been the most widely deployed DRM technology in China since many years now. And so a great success story here is certainly with our customer iQIYI. iQIYI was created in about 10 years ago in 2010 by Chinese multinational company Baidu, and it's now become the largest online video service in China, and it's serving more than 100 million subscribers. And iQIYI has actually been using ExpressPlay DRM and Marlin DRM since 2013 already.
Very good. What about Europe? Can you tell us about the most significant success story of Marlin in Europe?
Sure, indeed. Most of you might know, maybe not, but Marlin has been adopted in Europe as a DRM of choice in several marketplaces. And one of the most significant success story in Europe is certainly with the UView platform and the UView ecosystem in UK. So in summary, I would say UView is a hybrid television platform. It was developed in partnership with some broadcasters like BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, and with some telecom operators such as British Telecom or TalkTalk, and some additional partners as well. And UV devices are really those set-top boxes provided by the telecom operators to their subscribers, or those smart TVs enabled and integrated with a UView application. So these devices, in the end, grant the users with access to IPTV linear channels and to some demand video platforms, as well as some catch-up TV too. And this is all using some pretty innovative UI and EPG. Marlin DRM here is the main platform DRM used to protect the IPTV linear streams as well as the on-demand video streaming.
Great. Thank you. So you talked about these largest Marlin deployments in Asia and Europe. Can you also explain the different use cases that Marlin DRM is used for? For example, is it used for mostly online streaming or offline DRM content? Or even if there is any other use case besides just the video content?
Yes, of course. Very good point, Ali. So, well, I mean, as we have seen during the course of this video, Marlin DRM was indeed in the very first place designed and is widely deployed to support video streaming over open internet or over some managed networks, like in the case of IPTV services. But that being said, the Marlin technology is very flexible and can support many other deployment options to support video entertainment, such as video entertainment in offline and connected or slightly intermittently connected places, like in the case of in-flight entertainment, in bring your own device type of scenario, or onboard transportation video services as well. But that's actually not the end. Even more, Marlin as a technology is that flexible that it can support very well non-video content as long as it's digital content. And we've seen Marlin DRM being used and deployed in many scenarios, such as electronic books, trading cards, or even to protect bytecode applications.
Great, thank you. Well, thanks for joining us today, Nicola.
Thanks, Ali. You're welcome. My pleasure.
Well, we hope you all enjoyed this webcast, and feel free to reach out to Intertrust if you have any more questions or if you want to learn more about Marlin DRM.
Thanks, everyone.